We're on the road in the 2019 Ford Ranger XL with some options in the back. So we got a metal bed cover, we've got some Yakima uprights, and a Yakima pop-up two-person tent. And as you can see, the rearward visibility is not really reduced that much by the uprights. I mean, you can see them there, but it's not this huge blind spot. As you can tell, I'm driving with both hands. That's because my pal Dan Wolf is filming me right now. Dan is a very talented comic artist. I'm going to link to his page below. Thanks a lot for shooting this. We're going to do a little wheeling, camp overnight in the tent. I don't know if you all saw it earlier, but we've got the back of the cab loaded with, you know, sleeping bags and supplies and stuff like that, and then we fit a cooler full of drinks and snacks and everything in the bed. This truck is pretty simple in terms of its basic equipment. I'm not talking about the uprights or the tent or anything, obviously, but in terms of just the trim level itself, being an XL, it's pretty back to basics. A lot of hard plastics, you know, rubber wheel. It's not leather wrapped or anything. Really small screen. Here's something odd about this truck. It's saying my USB device requires too much power and to unplug it. I've never seen this notice in any other vehicle. This has happened with two different phones. I've got an iPhone XR, and then my pal Dan has an iPhone 8, I think, and he got the same notice. Never happened before except in this vehicle. No nav or anything, not even heated seats. Now, it is a four-wheel drive truck with a rear locker, but there's no terrain management system. It's basic. 4 low, 4 high, 4 low, a locker, that's it. So we're not gonna do a whole lot of, you know, crazy wheeling or anything. There's no terrain management system modes to try out or anything, but we'll do a little bit of wheeling. But the main focus of this video will just be on this truck in general and what using that tent is like. And I gotta say, on the road, it's surprisingly unnoticeable. Like I said, you know, the rearward visibility is still pretty much intact. I thought with that tent riding so high, there would be a lot of wind noise, but there's not really any more than the other Rangers that I've tried in the past. And in fact, I think having that weight in the back actually helps the dynamics of this truck. Now, obviously, as with any vehicle with a high center of gravity, you want to take it easy around turns, and especially in something like this, it's got extra weight and it's positioned higher than the rest of the truck. But aside from that, you know, I think it settles the rear end down because there is weight pushing down on the back axle. Ride quality is surprisingly smooth, and the steering seems pretty smooth too. Now, it's not exactly an apples to apples comparison, but I had a Ranger Lariat FX4. I had that mostly unladen, so, you know, that's part of it, and it had the FX4 off-road suspension package. But that being an off-road truck with an empty bed, that rode rough, as you would expect it to. This, with this weight in the back, granted it doesn't have the FX4 package, but it is a four-wheel drive truck. With that extra weight in the back, it rides surprisingly smoothly. All that extra equipment in the back, it doesn't feel like there's a huge trade-off, at least in terms of vehicle dynamics. We made it out to Hidden Falls in the 2019 Ranger. I'm going to give you an up-close look at some of the options fitted to this particular truck. So it's got the spray-in bed liner in the 5-foot box. Of course, we've got some essentials in here, our cooler, some firewood tonight for the fire pit, and then back there is the retractable bed cover. Obviously it's rolled up. Before this truck came in, I was kind of hoping it would come disassembled. I was looking forward to learning how to put together the tent and everything that goes with it. Of course, that was before I realized all the work that would be required to put all this stuff in, because it's not just, you know, a tent that you lay in the bed and strap in and put a few poles in. This truck, as it sits, it's got a retractable bed cover, so you got to put in the rails for that. You got to do all sorts of measurement and installing all these connectors, making sure everything fits right. Then you got to install the uprights, and then you need another person to help you put up the tent. And the tent is, I think, about 120 pounds. According to the manual, there's a small size and a medium size. I'm assuming since that's a two-person tent, it's medium size. So the tent alone weighs 120 pounds, and it's big and unwieldy, so obviously you would need another person to help you put it up there. So I don't know how much time it would have taken me and another person to put all this stuff in the truck, but I'll tell you this, it's time that I'm glad I don't have to spend. It came assembled like this. All I have to do is deploy the tent and use it. That's the easy part. For those of you interested in adding a setup like this to your Ranger, I've got some useful stats for you. So those uprights can handle 500 pounds of weight on-road and 300 pounds of weight off-road. According to the manual for the tent, there are two sizes. There's a small and a medium, and I'm assuming this is the medium size considering it holds two people. So if that's the case, it weighs 120 pounds and it can hold a capacity of 600 pounds. If you get the Ranger with the FX4 off-road package, you get a variety of upgrades with that. So you get the trail management system, you get the trail control, which is basically off-road cruise control, you get skid plates. This truck doesn't have the FX4 package, so I'm gonna keep the off-roading here at Hidden Falls pretty mild. It's not my truck, it belongs directly to Ford, so I don't want to mess anything up. Wanted to give you all an idea of what's out here and, you know, what the truck looks like when it's going through it. So we're gonna stick to pretty mild trails. So far, so good. Rear end is planted. I don't feel like this is a big, huge, unwieldy beast with that tent on top. Of course, I have to be mindful of its weight and how it's distributed. This doesn't feel that much larger than a regular Ranger with the Super Crew body style. When you see a big muddy puddle like this, you have to drive through it, which is exactly what we're gonna do. I like the lightning blue paint on this truck, but if you ask me, mud looks even better. Oh, hey, look. Our old friend. Let's get reacquainted. Had a lot of fun wheeling in the 2019 Ford Ranger today out here at Hidden Falls Adventure Park. Pretty soon we're going to use it to camp using that two-person pop-up Yakima tent in the back. So in a way we're going to be kind of roughing it. I use that term loosely. The trim level on this truck is kind of roughing it. As far as 2019 vehicles go. Trucks have gotten really fancy these days, but this one is an XL trim level, so it's the base trim level. Of course, Ford has fitted this with a few options. One of those is the 101A equipment group, so that includes things like cruise control and power side mirrors. This also has the STX appearance package, and that includes a number of things as well, including black front and rear bumpers, these 17-inch wheels, and of course the decal on the bed sides. Part of the optional setup on this particular Ranger is this locking, sliding metal bed cover. So all you have to do is just flip up this cover. They give you a little key, so you turn that in there, unlock it, and you really got to press down on this button to get this latch to pop up, and then you can just use that as a sort of handle. Rolls all the way to the back. I'll just show it to you, sliding back. And so far, this has been very particular. You really gotta, yeah, there you go. You cannot be light-handed with that. And just lock it back in place, flip that down, and there you go. Nice and secure. Now that we've gotten some mud and dirt on it, we're going to use it to camp. I've looked at the instructions, and basically it seems like all we'll have to do to deploy that tent is what I call unzip, unclip, and flip. Basically just undo the fasteners, unzip it in certain areas, and then we're supposed to pull the little ladder out and then use that to flip the tent out. So hopefully it's that easy. We'll see. All right, so we're starting by unzipping things. We got that right there. Unclip this. Undo that. Clip. All right, let's see. Go around here. First time doing this, so bear with me. Let's see, I might have to undo that.
The cover's covering it's the ladder. Okay. There we go. There we go. This stays on, I think.
Just gotta roll this up. Time to pull the ladder down, and we just use that to flip this panel out and go from there. Okay. Gonna shorten the ladder a little bit, make it a little steeper to get in there. Here, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, thanks. All right. And then, see, that's the thing though, we don't want it lifting the tent up too much.
Right, but is there a way to like have it just like shortened by a little bit?
Yeah, I figure if we keep collapsing these, you know, and
yeah.
Might have to lean these out a little bit, but you're saying more?
Maybe like one more. Just, you know, why not?
Why not?
There we go.
Now comes the moment of truth. I'm going to test it out. Wish me luck. All right, we got a little cover here. Tuck that back. I'd say it worked. Need to put our sleeping bags and pillows and everything in here, but they got a little mattress pad. Seems thick enough. We're only going to be camping out one night, so I think we'll be fine. So this is the inside of the two-person tent. Spacious enough. Got a nice soft pad on the bottom. And of course, we're going to have our sleeping bags on top of that. So I think we'll be pretty comfortable tonight. And it's got a rain fly over it just in case it rains out here, but I don't think it will. I think we're going to need it as cool as possible. There it is, the finished product. Got the rain fly out of the way. Now you got to use these poles to, you know, pull it out of the way. They have to go in at a certain angle in these holes. Otherwise it's not going to be completely secure. The main issue with these poles is that this last one right here, since the tent is offset, it's in a tricky spot. So what my pal Dan did was he got in the very back of the bed here and kind of maneuvered his way here. And then I opened the door here, stepped right there, and then I was helping him put it in place. And again, yeah, it's at a very particular angle, and you don't want to get it wrong and have it, you know, snap out and fly back, especially against the back window there. These were a little tricky, but we got them in place. Now it's time to start a campfire and chill out for the night.